Today we'll show you how to cut a piece of plexiglass easily using this tool. It's an oscillating tool. And previously I made a homemade plexiglass cutting tool, and it works great. But if you don't have this and you have an oscillating tool around, you can cut plexiglass also very easily, especially if you have a piece of plexiglass that's very thin, like this one here. This one here is only about 1.5 millimeter thick, so it's very thin. And I've tried to use other methods like scoring with a knife and then try to bend it and try to break it. Unfortunately, it's not always as planned, and as you can see here, it doesn't always break straight as you plan. Sometimes when you score it, you have just a little bit of imperfection can cause it to break. Instead of breaking straight, it will bend and then become very weird shape, and you're gonna damage your cut. I also tried it with a jigsaw to cut my thin plexi here, and because it's thin, it flax very easily. So when the blades move up and down, it flaxes the plexiglass, and then eventually it will just crack. If you have a thicker plexiglass like this one here, this one is about 7 millimeter thick. It's a lot thicker, so it's not as flexible. It's very stiff, so it doesn't bend and flex when you're trying to use a jigsaw to cut it. When the blade moves up and down like this, it's stiff, so it doesn't bend, so you can cut it very easily. Unlike a thin plexiglass like this one here, it's going to be really challenging cutting with a jigsaw, and most of the time I end up damage my plexiglass. Now if you have a tool like an oscillating tool with a blade like this, it will allow you to cut the plexiglass very easily. So let's get to it. So next I'm going to cut a straight line to my plexiglass here. The way I do it is I'm gonna make a deep groove and cut it on one side, and I don't cut it all the way through, but just make a deep cut, and then flip over and cut on the other side and complete the cut on the other side. I found that when cutting plexiglass, instead of producing dust like when you're cutting wood or metal, it melts, and the plastic melt and gets stuck to your blade. It makes it very hard for you to cut. So by cutting on one side first, I remove part of the material first, so I get some material removed, so when I flip over there's not much material left for it to melt and get stuck in my blade. So when I flip it over, that's when I complete the cut. There we go. You can see here it melts really bad and stick to my blade, makes it really hard for me to cut. And as you can see, there's some part that I got slipped because the blade is covered with plastic, and doesn't cut very efficiently. So here we go, nice and straight. So that was the straight cut, which was pretty easy and straightforward, right? But I'm going to show you how to cut a circle. The basic principle is still the same. You make a deep cut, a deep groove, one round, one circle, and then you flip over and complete the cut on the other side. It's basically the same way, but a circle requires a little bit more patience. Here we go. Nice and round. The hole I cut out is also nice and round. Pretty cool, huh? So next I'm gonna cut the inner ring as well. Here we go, final piece. Beautiful round piece. Let me show you the close-up of my cut here. You see there, instead of producing dust like wood or metal, plexiglass, it melts and sticks to the blades. That's why cutting plexiglass with a saw blade is a bit challenging. As you can see here, this oscillating tool is superior in cutting plexiglass than the jigsaw. It's because the jigsaw blades, it moves up and down, but the movement is too much, and that will make the plexiglass flex too much and crack the plexiglass. Whereas this tool, the angle of movement is only 1.8 degrees, and it moves back and forth, and the movement is not much enough to flex the plexiglass and make it stable to cut. So that's why this tool is a lot easier and much faster to cut than a jigsaw for a thin plexiglass. So there you have it, how to cut plexiglass with an oscillating tool. Not only can you cut a straight line very easily, you can also easily cut it into any shape that you want. And next time I'm gonna have some very cool projects using these plexiglass pieces. Until then, see you next time.